You have successfully reset your dopamine baseline. Your nervous system is regulated. You finally have the biological drive to work. But if you attempt to apply this newly restored energy to a standard modern work routine, you will completely waste it. The greatest lie sold to the modern labor force is the concept of time management. You are taught to categorize your life into 15-minute calendar blocks, optimizing every second of your day for maximum shallow efficiency. This is a catastrophic architectural failure. High-level output is not a function of time. It is a strict biological function of cognitive bandwidth. You do not need more hours in the day. You need to fundamentally restructure how your brain processes complex information. The modern corporate structure demands constant connectivity, rapid replies, endless meetings, and perpetual task switching. We call this shallow work. It is administrative trivia that requires zero neurochemical strain. And to separate yourself from the completely distracted masses, you must abandon shallow work and engineer a daily protocol for deep work. This is the brutal, uncompromising practice of intense, single-task concentration, completely devoid of digital friction. To understand why deep work is a mandatory biological necessity, we must examine the neurology of context switching. Society believes the human brain can multitask. This is a physiological impossibility. When you attempt to write a complex report while simultaneously checking your communication channels, your prefrontal cortex is not processing two things at once. It is rapidly toggling between neural networks. This aggressive toggling aggressively burns through your brain's finite glucose reserves. Worse still, clinical behavioral psychology has identified a phenomenon known as attention residue. When you switch your focus from a deep task to a quick email and then back to the deep task, your attention does not fully return. A significant percentage of your cognitive RAM remains physically stuck thinking about the unresolved email. You are attempting to perform high-level cognitive synthesis while a background application silently drains 40% of your battery. Every single time you check your phone during a work session, you are chemically fracturing your focus. You are voluntarily sabotaging your own intellect. If you want to achieve elite output, the digital severance must be absolute. Deep work is not merely a productivity hack. It is a biological upgrade. When you engage in periods of extreme, uninterrupted concentration, you trigger a profound physical alteration in your neuroanatomy. Whenever you practice a complex skill or wrestle with a highly difficult concept, specific neural circuits fire. These circuits fire in a state of absolute, isolated focus. Your brain triggers the release of myelin. Myelin is a layer of fatty tissue that physically wraps around your neurons, insulating the electrical signals. The thicker the myelin sheath, the faster and cleaner the electrical impulse travels. Thicker myelin literally dictates the difference between an amateur and an elite performer. But here is the critical physiological rule. Myelination only occurs effectively in a state of deep, singular focus. If you are distracted, the neural circuits fire chaotically, and the myelin is never laid down. By working in a distracted state, you are ensuring your brain remains physically mediocre. To thicken your neural pathways, you must isolate the circuit. You must willingly subject yourself to the extreme cognitive friction of deep work. To execute this flawlessly, we must align your schedule with your inherent evolutionary biology. Human beings do not operate on a flat 24-hour battery. We operate in 90-minute cycles, known as Ultradian rhythms. Your brain can only sustain peak neurochemical concentration for roughly 90 minutes before the glucose and neurotransmitter reserves are temporarily depleted. Any attempt to push a deep work session past this biological limit results in diminishing returns and autonomic stress. Therefore, you will construct your day around 90-minute clinical sprints. Before you begin, the environment must be ruthlessly sterilized. Your phone is placed in a separate room. Your internet router is disconnected if the task allows. Noise-canceling headphones are applied. For 90 minutes, you are dead to the outside world. You do not exist. If a thought about a chore or an email arises, you write it on a physical piece of paper and immediately return to the central task. You do not break the psychological seal under any circumstances. When the 90 minutes are up, you stop. You must then grant your brain 20 to 30 minutes of genuine, low-stimulation rest to clear the metabolic waste from your synapses before initiating the next cycle. 2 to 3 of these strictly guarded 90-minute blocks will produce more elite, high-caliber output than a 90-hour week of distracted, shallow administrative panic. You are trading the illusion of busyness for the brutal reality of execution. But this system relies entirely on architectural consistency. Deep work cannot be something you do only when you feel inspired. It must be a non-negotiable, mathematically scheduled baseline in your daily calendar. It is a biological ritual. You have now engineered the ultimate offensive protocol. You have the dopamine to start and the neuroarchitectural focus to execute. You are pushing your central nervous system to its absolute maximum capacity. But operating at this level of extreme cognitive intensity creates massive amounts of toxic metabolic waste inside your brain. If you do not possess the precise biological mechanism to flush these neurotoxins out, your system will rapidly crash into chronic burnout. You know how to exert force. Now, you must learn the mathematics of biological recovery. Click here to discover the hidden mechanics of the glymphatic system and learn exactly how to architect your sleep to physically wash the neurotoxins from your brain.